Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and oh looky here, Marauders, issue number one. Zuh. All right, guys. So Marauders issue number one. I read this once, and then I read it through again a second time. So yeah, first time looking at this. I don't know if I'm the first person actually doing a review on this. I would imagine I am. I didn't see anything else online, whether it's video or written, but this is what I got. So I'm going to tell you about who made this book, and then we're just going to start blathering on about the book itself. So let's get started. We got Jerry Duggan as the writer, Matteo Lolly on art, Federico Blee doing the colors, and VC's Corey Petit doing the letters. Tom Mueller doing the design, and the cover artists are Russell Dauterman and Matthew Wilson. Whole bunch of variant cover art. I love that, they're putting a bunch of people to work, but at the same time, dude, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, hey, Scott Fitzgerald is here. What's up, dude? So, anything I say wrong, he's going to immediately correct. Give you that right now. If Raven shows up, I guarantee you we'll have two of them on it. Anyway, this issue of the Marauders, issue number one, is called I'm on a Boat. Oh, for the sake of conversation, they're still doing the secret stuff in the bag. It's not secret anymore. Next, and it says ship out on the back. So, yeah, hey, anyway, so ship out is going to be the next issue. Um, I do want to notice something just because, I'm not a linguist, but I am an English teacher, so I do notice this stuff. Remember how I said that these symbols here on either end where it says next, these symbols on the end are supposed to be like bookmarks saying, hey, if there's less than six, um, there's always going to be, segments of six for everything that we're going to do. And if a word happens to have seven or more letters, well, here's the first six, and here, and then you'll get the other ones over here. There will be no spaces, there will be no anything like that. It'll just be, spaces of six. And if there's less than six letters in a particular word, and it's just that word itself, well, then we're going to give you these two things over here. Well, ship out has seven letters and yet there are no brackets. There's no space. There's no nothing. It should be six plus one space with the two brackets, right? And they don't do that anymore. Anyway, so once again, for the sake of conversation, oh, and I do realize it's showing podcast down there, but that's why I've got this stuff in here, and I'll fix all that stuff later. For now, it just is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to be talking about Marauders issue number one. I'm only going to be taking questions as far as the Marauders issue or X-Men related or related to this issue X-Men questions because people do have to see this later. I will have to ignore everything else and I will be taking questions at the end. Please direct them to Silva Surfer so that he can send them to me. So as we get started in this book, we see that the the island of Krakoa is, of course, putting up all these gates in various places. We now know that non humans are incapable of passing through them unless they are specifically invited. That is something that I did not have information to before. None of us did. We can, of course, speculate on it. So I guess um, Corsair, what's his name? Scott Summers is, Cyclops' father. I guess he's going to have a special permission to use that gate at the very least to be able to go over here because that flower was grown specifically for him. That's the way that all of this works. You have to have a flower grown specifically for you. And for some reason, Krakoa doesn't seem to want to give a flower to Kitty. Now, I find that particularly interesting, and a whole bunch of people who hate Kitty are going to be like, yeah, what's up? Um, but she is, for some reason, not allowed through the gate, and she actually busts her nose. That I've seen broken noses before. That looks like a broken nose. I mean, like her eye changes color. I mean, dude, that is fantastic. And this is probably a great time to mention the art in here. Matteo Lally is a really good artist. I love his artwork. He's really good with shading, the inks, and all that good stuff. He's really good at what he does. I do have to point out, though, that he's an artist that usually doesn't, with his pencils, doesn't get into too much of the descript lines, the specific lines and whatnot. And that is why a color artist like Federico Blee is perfect for this kind of an artist. So therefore, specifically for this specific book. Federico, like just look at Kitty Pryde. Now imagine there are no colors. I wish that I could get a hold of not the finished product, the the finishes. So we've only got the pencils and inks. All right. I wish I can get a hold of that and not see the colors on here because you would see how plain this looks. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong, nothing. But once you add all of the color work that Federico Blee does, impressive, impressive. Yes, it shows the page before how she busted her nose. I'm actually in the process of showing you the busted nose. Anyway, there are 9 characters that are in this. Bishop is not actually a part of this team yet. Emma Frost is going to be sort of like an away leader. It's funny how Storm mentions Kitty's gonna be the actual leader of this mission. I think that's great. Storm has enough on her plate. She's already one of the Council of 12. She doesn't need to be in charge of a team also. Way too much work to do that. So Storm is just she's a like I guess you'd call her like a co-captain or just a regular old marauder, whatever. But Kitty Pryde is actually in charge here. And yes, Lockheed is back. It's not just a cool picture. Lockheed is actually in this comic book. So I don't see Wolverine as being on this team, but he's definitely in the book. It's funny, like I miss when he doesn't say suds to refer to a beer. So like you actually have Wolverine's list on here. Since Kitty Pryde is incapable of traveling through the portal, what happens instead is she has to take a ship. She steals a boat and she's actually got her shipping journal over here, which she left in a bottle for someone. Top secret, eyes only access. What do you call it? The Office of Naval Intelligence found the message in a bottle. No, not the police song, but found the message in the bottle that Kitty Pryde left for whoever, just left it in the ocean. And they mention how everything seems to be recycled. The X-Men don't litter. So we can assume from this that the X-Men recycle everything through Krakoa. If you remember the previous issue of X-Men #1, they actually showed that Krakoa wanted to make it so that the dishes themselves were not biodegradable, but rather were edible. That the dishes and the utensils were actually edible in and of themselves, and they were like, "Yeah, no, that's just too freaky. Listen, the compromise, give us this icky, gooey stuff that we can wash the dishes with instantly, and it immediately removes all of the bacteria from it, please, because we don't want to be eating dishes." Oh my God, Krakoa has a great personality in this. We've seen bits and pieces of him having something of a personality before when he was like the lawn for the X-Men, but no, this is 100 times better. I love these subtle interactions that Krakoa is having with everybody. Like it's definitely developing a personality, but through the shipping log, we can see that the X-Men have what seems to be a perfect recycling system. That's cool. That's cool. Um, so Kitty has to sail to Krakoa, and there's no way for her to actually get through. I love this image over here, and that's all Matty O'Lally for the most part. This image where this one mutant's like, "Oh, so I heard that you're the X-Men who can't use the gates." It's like, "Yeah, and you're the kid that everyone wants to fight." And like the look on Kitty's face is freaking classic, man. Freaking classic. Bobby Drake is the old fun-loving Bobby. If you remember the Friends TV show, it's Fun Bobby. He's just not getting drunk. Kitty Pryde is getting drunk a lot in this, but on Wolverine's stash. Anyway, I was talking about Wolverine was like, "Well, since you gotta you gotta come by on a ship, how about this? Can you just get on a ship and get me a shipping list?" So I'm gonna give you Logan's shopping list. Ribs. God, I love this. Wolverine is one of the best characters out there when he's not just, going around killing people and whatnot. I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is an awesome shopping list for a block party, baby. He wants ribs from a specific place. They'll FedEx it to you. Canadian Club whiskey. Isn't that something that No, was that Matthew Rosenberg? I don't think so. I think that was Ed Brisson that's been talking about that recently. I think that was Ed Brisson. So that's actually pretty funny. Suds. Calls them suds instead of just regular beers. Stuff as many in as you can. Hey, bottles might break. Use the cans. I prefer bottles, but just go with the cans, please. Cubano sandwiches, coffee, and Pomade. Yes, the coffee comment is actually explained here. Pomade. Pomade is something I didn't have to look up. I think that's hysterical because I was offered pomade. If you guys saw when I did my haircut on the This Week in Comics about 2 months ago, the guy actually offered me pomade. He's like, "Here, you want this little thing? You put it in my hair, and it made it do this solid mess look. It's kind of like gel, but not." Anyway, that's just hysterical that he was offered freaking um, what do you call it? Pomade. So Wolverine uses pomade. So that's how he keeps his hair in those spiky things. Aha! And he says, keep it under wraps. Don't talk to anybody about it. So basically, the purpose of the Marauders, at least by this first issue, we're not getting too much of of Emma Frost dealing with the Black King. We don't yet know who the Red King is yet. We just know that Kitty Pryde has been asked by Emma, hey, this is actually an opportunity for you. Why don't you go on ahead and work a ship? Okay, use the ship, use a different ship, whatever ship you want. Maybe I'll give you a ship. Okay, what do you want? I need you to go around and start trying to get other mutants through these portals. All right, get them to us on Krakoa because there's lots of places like Russia who aren't going to let people, the mutants, go through the portals. So like, okay, cool, I can do that. That sounds like something I could do. Kitty wasn't the first pick. Actually, Storm was picked before her, and Storm said no. Kitty knows about this. All the way in the back of the book, so I got to jump around a little bit. It actually helps to make it so that I won't be demonetized by Marvel. There's the red diamond in the back where they start, this is the Sinister secrets, the secrets from Bar Sinister. So, what do you call it? He actually says at one point, whispers on the wind that a certain mutant undergoing a new phase of their life, a new phase of their life, Kitty Pryde, ha, cute use of a pun, is sitting on quite an offer. It won't last, but I wonder if they'd be surprised to know that they were not the first nor the second choice. Perhaps third time's the charm. So, if Storm was the second choice and Kitty was the third, I wonder who the first person was who was picked but refused. Or was it even a refusal? God, I love these. So, Kitty and Lockheed and Iceman and Pyro, mind you, this is the original Pyro, and I love that this was actually mentioned because we can all see the obvious, the Aussie language. Somebody's called a yollop or something like that. This is a UK and Aussie terminology for excuse me, for a degenerate in the culture. I think that's great. But we can see all of this obvious language. Hey, mate, oi, and stuff like that. But it's actually stated by Bobby, hey, you're the original Pyro. Yeah, yeah. It turns out I was one of the first ones brought back, but I was mostly just used as a guinea pig for a while. But anyway, I'm back now, and I thought to go out and hurt some people and steal some stuff, but you made me cause some mischief. But I fell asleep on the boat. Now I woke up and are we on a mission? So he was informed very adamantly, kill no human. I hope he understands that, otherwise he'll be seeing Sabretooth real soon. Anyway, so that's cool. But they actually mention you're the original, and it's Bobby who says that. If you remember, back in the previous run of the X-Men, Bobby was actually dating the new Pyro. I think that was in X-Men Gold, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, so that's interesting. So what this actually means is that character still, that version of Pyro still exists, but here's the original one. So cool, cool, little cross promotion. Anyway, so what happens? We've got this Iron Man type character, this Russian knockoff Iron Man character who is really ridiculously powerful, and his main power is to take away the abilities. He's basically got a mutant nullifier on him. It's super powerful. So yeah, they the guy even pointed out we just took down an Omega, talking about Bobby Drake. So one blast, boom, Bobby Drake loses all of his powers, can't even ice up. Um, Now, usually a mutant nullifier can last permanently. There could be some out there now that will only last a certain amount of time. Either way, this is something I noticed, the moment that he went through the gate, the Krakoan gate back to Krakoa proper, he immediately had his powers again. He was immediately able to ice up. And yes, I'm doing the sound effect from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Shut up, I'm old. So anyway, I found that interesting. I wonder if mutant nullifiers effects can be nullified if they actually go through the the Krakoan gate. That's interesting. Just something to take a look at. Pay attention to that. That could potentially be important. He did also lose a flip flop. That could be important also. So yeah, you can see here that he actually immediately starts beginning to ice himself up right here once he goes through the gate and realize that he almost died. Now, there's a lot of conspiracies going on in here. Taipei, Taiwan. We see this woman here, Miss Zhao. Miss Zhao is holding a conference. Now, we could get into the politics of China if we wanted to. I'm really not interested myself. The idea here is that, oh, look, here's this person who could be a Chinese nationalist going into Taiwan and holding this rally saying, look, I'm really rich and these mutants, they're causing a problem. Those gates, they're lying to us about something. My husband went up and touched the gate one night and completely disappeared. What's up? Well, she's been saying this for a while because Bishop is in the comic book. He's just not on the team yet. Maybe he will be. I hope he will be because they could use a freaking powerhouse like him on there. Plus, Storm's on the team, and I kind of always want to see these two together. Yeah, I'm just saying. Anyway, so Days of Our Lives aside, Bishop shows up solo and he's like, Miss Zhao, can I talk to you in private? She says, no. So he just calls out to her, listen, I'm actually from Krakoa and we've investigated and we don't have your husband. We've never heard of your husband. Your husband didn't come through the gate by accident. So I don't know what this thing is that you're talking about. She right and unfortunately he also says, you have my word. Peeps, in the future, may I make this recommendation? Don't say you have my word or trust me unless someone asks you. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, are you being serious right now? You have my word. Seriously, I'm speaking truthfully. Well, in all honesty, if I could tell the truth, no. Save all this stuff until you're challenged, okay? Don't say don't give the promise the vow prior. Anyway, he does. And she says, "Your word means nothing to me, mutie." It's not actually what she says, but it's essential. Oh, it is. She says mutant. She doesn't say mutie. So it's not a completely bad word, but you know how she meant it. You know the context. So anyway, he just leaves, and I'm looking at this, being careful. Enough people close to him heard what was going on right down here, so they're looking at him right now and jeering and screaming at him. So a lot of people are buying into this crap, but she's up to some no good nonsense. Her husband didn't go anywhere near there. I think that she killed her husband. This had better be a story that we can see in the future because I love the idea of that. You know what I'm saying? Every time something new pops up, you want to be a fake populist. You always have to denounce the other. And the mutants are the ultimate other in any comic book story that has ever been written, ever. Ever. So that is perfect. She's got to try and solidify a base of power in some way, shape, or form because money can't buy everything. But she's obviously trying to make some serious power moves here. And she's got to point out mutants, they're the bad guy. They took my husband. She probably killed her husband or had her husband killed in order to consolidate more power. Anyway, that's the deal. So, um, these guys have to go and they have to stop the immediate threat, which is a threat of violence. The good guys show up immediately. Storm and where is it? Right over here. Storm and Iceman show up, and they immediately have their powers taken away. That was a little bit frustrating, but the book isn't written about all of these characters. You got to have a spotlight on just a few, and since we didn't have a whole bunch from Kitty Pryde in here, this is where we have one, two, three, four, five, six, about seven, almost 7 pages of Kitty Pryde just seriously kicking butt. And she ain't interested in the names. This was awesome. All right. There's this thing that happened in here where Emma Frost is mentioning, hey, why is everybody still calling you, Catherine, why is everyone still calling you Kitty? And she's like, of all the amazing, uncanny, and astonishing, I love that, things that the X-Men have done, I think this is one of the things that they're incapable of doing. Meaning seeing her as an adult, even through all the adult things that she's done, you know? I know a lot of the readers and viewers are of the experience of excuse me, Jubilee being the young X-Men, the cool young X-Men that everybody likes. I wasn't ever on that boat. I never really liked Jubilee. I always saw Jubilee as kind of the usurper who took over for Kitty Pryde being the one that Logan Wolverine was supposed to take, under his wing. He wound up taking her under the wing instead, and I never really dug that. But it was because of the TV series. Whatever, man, whatever. Anyway, Kitty Pryde was always my favorite young X-Men, and I've always enjoyed seeing her grow. The little tiny aspects here and there of her growing up and new things happening. And this really is a kitty-centric issue. I seriously doubt the entire comic series, the title will be kitty-centric, but I wouldn't complain if it were. In the meantime, this particular issue, the end is great, where she says to them, "Could you call me Kate?" I loved that. Like, I genuinely smiled for that. Storm is still her best friend ever. Um, Storm's like, "Yes, I will be on your team, but you have to deal with Emma. I don't want to have to deal with her." Well, I hate to say it, Storm, but you know that you're actually on a council of 12. You're one of the 12, and so is Emma. So maybe you don't want to deal with her any more than you have to, but you will be dealing with her. Sorry. There will be not, 10 other voices on there, hopefully, that you can try and sway, but you won't get them all. This was a fun comic book. I genuinely enjoyed this comic book. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bump over to Facebook and see if Rich has sent. No, of course, Rich has sent me nothing. Good job, Rich. You are freaking awesome. You're so good at this. You're so good at this. Let's see what's in here. Is this book worth the purchase if you had no intentions of getting it? I'm going to say this. Not only was this a really fun book, but all of the issue ones are going to be worth it. All of them, because they're all going to be doing something. It might even be the first 10 issues that are going to be worth it, so to speak. Maybe only the first six, but guaranteed the first ones. Like, I'm not a particular fan I've never really been a particular fan of the Excalibur comic books. I've read them because they were necessary, but not because, oh my God, I love Excalibur. Nah, Excalibur was always like, it's cool. Kitty was in it, Rachel was in it. I liked seeing what Captain Marvel was doing. Nightcrawler's fun. Megan was always hot. Yes, I mean, but and of course Lockheed was in it, and Widget. Widget was always cool. But I mean, like for the most part, like these characters working together, they were all just silly, and it was painful. The TechNet and everything. Like for the most part, I just couldn't stand it. Juggernaut, well, I think that was issue 3, stepping on freaking Captain Britain. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? But it was a very important comic book because all of this stuff, like the first time that our Earth, the Marvel Earth was called the Earth 616, and all this other time jumping and whatnot, and learning about all these different universes and the nomenclatures of them, that was all in the Excalibur books, if you didn't know. So the volume 1 of Excalibur for Marvel, that is a crucial series to have. But I can't say that it was a fun series, not for me. So I already have this negative feeling against Excalibur, but I'm also not a huge fan of the writer for Excalibur. Will I still be buying the comic book and reading them? Yeah, at least for the first maybe 10 issues because I feel like they're going to be crucial. So definitely get the first issue of each. There can be no denying that they're going to be important. After that, though, issue by issue, come here and check out what I'm saying, see what somebody else is saying about it, whatever. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Let's see if maybe, let me actually keep my Facebook open and see if, nope, nothing, nothing. Great job, Rich. You're awesome. Um, well, I am here for a live stream. I do want to say hi to everybody. Let's see, is there anything else up in here? Um, the fence picking it up. They should make a issue 1. Let's deal with Emma. Sinister Secret 15 implies a submarine, maybe. Oh, yeah, I had to. Sorry, I should do these Sinister Secrets because some of those are going to be fairly important. Okay, we already read Sinister Secrets number 11. So let's talk about, and this is all the best gossip from Bar Sinister. Mr. Sinister, if you're, yeah. Sinister Secret issue number 12. Humanity's health and well being was never a popular topic around Bar Sinister, but now that Krakoan medicines are keeping us afloat, we probably ought to pay attention to the changing of the tides at Hellfire Bay. We hear one of the seas to be carefully navigated is deep and red. Okay, this is in all probability talking about the Red Sea, not just because the red. I believe that the Mediterranean, or excuse, oh no, the Mediterranean actually, I think is the biggest of the seas. The Red Sea isn't as big as the Mediterranean, I don't think. The Red Sea, however, borders with like Saudi Arabia and Egypt and like that. The Mediterranean is like Syria and Lebanon also. I don't think Lebanon. I can't remember. I haven't been that far. But a lot of Africa, like Tunisia. What do you call it? Up top with um, Italy and France, like all the Mediterranean European countries. The olive country and all that stuff. The best foods and fruits, right? Like this. Now that's also interesting because the Mediterranean Sea, if you ever read the Bible, the Old Testament specifically, the book of Leviticus talks about how the great beast there were three great beasts. There's Behemoth, the beast of the land, Leviathan, the beast of the sea, and Ziz, the beast of the air. Leviathan, the beast of the sea, wasn't in one of the oceans. Leviathan was in the Mediterranean Sea. Interesting, right? So I believe that the deepest sea is actually the Mediterranean, but it might, although the Dead Sea is the lowest according to land, water level, sea level. God, you know what? It could be anything. It could be anything. That's a hard one, my peeps. Sinister Secret number 13. Speaking of the black and white, nobody was talking about black and white, so I don't know why it says that. Not everyone got their invite. This one's just a rhyme, which is interesting. None of the other ones are rhymes. This one particular is a rhyme, though. Speaking of the black and white, not everyone got their invite. Quite a faux pas. We hope there's not a fight. That one's going to be interesting. Not everyone got their invite. Maybe this is referring to the like I don't know what the black and white is supposed to be. Maybe the black king and the white queen, and we're waiting for a red king, right? Not everybody got their invite. Maybe that's what's going on, and there's gonna so the fight might between the black king Sebastian Shaw and the white queen Emma Frost. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I'm not sure. It's just interesting that it's rhymed like that. Sinister Secret 14, humans wearing sheets always led to trouble. Talking about the KKK and gowns, so like the Inquisition and the like. Who are these kooky new looky-loos crowding our gates? Okay, this is something that I did not see in the book. I actually went back. This is when I said I read the book and then I perused through it again. I didn't see any looky-loos in gowns or sheets. Checking this out, but this is clearly indicating a new possible threat, an enemy of some sort, maybe. Something's going on. There are people in gowns or sheets who are hanging around these gates. Maybe they're trying to investigate. They do talk about the strategic defense, the Department of Defense, which should really be called the Department of War, but what do I know? Anyway, they talk about these guys actually researching, trying to figure out what's going on with these gates, trying to get more inside information. Maybe they can find a way to penetrate these gates. Maybe they can find a way to use the gate technology. That's so I don't know what their intentions are, but they're more human prone than they are mutant prone. And finally, Sinister Secret number 5. That was Wilfredo was talking about that. What's up, Wilfredo? We hear the slow boat is built to catch all eyes, but it's the one under the radar that's really turning heads. Okay, well, the slow boat seems to be that boat that Kitty is on right here. Oops, my thing just went down, so I can't see what I'm looking at in real time. So right here, that's Kitty Pryde's boat. I'm assuming that's the one. That's the one that's going to catch all eyes. That's the one that everybody's going to be paying attention to. But there was a scene in here that I found to be particularly interesting. Look at this. She's got her own boat. Emma has her own boat. It's got a gun. Like it looks like it's a spigot on top. Sorry, spigot's not even an army word, but it's a word that's used in the military. Spigot is a shoot, self-propelled individual gun, something like that. Anyway, it's a self-operating gun. Look up the rail gun. Okay, basically, it's a rail gun. It's guided by computers. So that's what it looks like to me. Maybe it's just something they just threw together, some kind of Gatling gun. Anyway, there is a giant, awesome, beautiful ship that Emma is standing in front of, and that's the one that's flying under the radar. That's the one that nobody's paying attention to, right? So that's of particular interest to me. I got to know what's up with that. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Oh, hey, there we go. We got Rich talking some good stuff here. Well, Fredo was answering every question for you. Well, damn, roll, Fredo, you're awesome. I know he got an early copy and you read it 4 times already. But anyway, thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. And definitely also thank you, Wilfredo. You are freaking awesome. So anyway, yeah. Wilfredo wound up getting his book a day before I did. You bastard. But thank you for helping out with the questions in there. So anyway, this is for Suan. What's up, Suan? So anyway, this is a freaking awesome book. Definitely enjoying the hell out of this one. I was really hoping I was. With Jerry Duggan doing this book, it's very Jerry Duggan for me has been very hit or miss. And I feel like he's been missing as much as he's been hitting, but I have to give credit where credit's due. Even though, in my opinion, he completely screwed up on that event that came out last year, the Infinity event. God, that was painful. Both halves of it, because it was split into 2 halves to double our pain, the pre and then the actual. God, and I still have post. Oh God, mental headaches from this. But he also gave us Daredevil for, or excuse me, Deadpool for a ridiculously long time. And Jerry has the ability to do his own, like, it's basically the Deadpool jokes at this point. The way that he's able to just throw out a really cool joke, a good quip once in a while. And he does that a lot. Jerry has the ability to make characters. If you haven't read his Deadpool run, you're really only hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else. So I highly recommend going back. If you can find a trade for on the cheap, or if you have the cash on hand to buy a bunch of the trades, please do so. He introduces some amazing characters there, and characters who we've already known, and he builds an entire universe. Well, not a universe, but almost entire universe for Deadpool. He brings back Madcap as a very cool villain, like a believably frightening villain. 2 heroes with no limits to their healing factor fighting each other. God, it was a freaking match made in heaven, and Jerry Duggan's the one that brought that to us. So he definitely has the ability to give a voice to every character, to make every character feel real, to make every character feel different, and that's just perfect. Perfect. So Duggan is at his Duggan best in this book, as far as I'm concerned, at least with this first issue. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more there. After that, nope, no more from Facebook. So I think I'm going to leave now. Do not forget, at exactly 3 o'clock, I've got the Immortal Hulk book up. That will not be a live review, but it really should be. I just don't have the time to make all of my books. Sorry, that was the glare in there. I don't have the time to make every book a live book, a live review, but I really do wish I could have done that. If you guys would have voted on this one being first, I would have just done this one first because wow. But I think I have like a 25-minute or so review on that one. Whole lot of stuff happening, and an otherwise boring book. It's an absolute must-have. Speculators are going to want it, so grab it in the morning. Also consider grabbing Detective Comics that just came out this week. 1014, I believe, is the issue number. First appearance of Mrs. Freeze. Yeah. Batman Beyond will have the first appearance of Batwoman Beyond. I don't know what the hell's going on with this world. But anyway, yeah, so that's it. And I'm about out. So I will talk with you guys later. Thank you for showing up. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.